So you don't believe, you don't trust. So how the hell are you going to manifest if you don't believe in it or you don't think it's possible? I'm going to let you know in this video. Hello, my fellow flawless, limitless, sexy, sassy, saucy HBICs. How are you on this lovely morning, afternoon, or evening? It's really early morning. Don't mistake the brightness behind me because it's not bright. It's my camera making it bright. It's very early, family sleeping, and I have some nuggets for you. I'm going to skip my normal intros. If you want to work with me, all that information is in the drop box below. Every way to come into contact with me, whether coaching, channel memberships, my other channel, Kimberly's Other Life here on YouTube, other platforms I'm on, everything, drop box below. How the heck do we manifest when we don't believe, when we don't trust, when it feels like it's too good to be true? And I am very highly in the conscious awareness of knowing there's a lot of you who feel that way. And first, I want you to know through my own content, if you were to take the time to watch all of my videos in chronological order, right, from day one to now, I am hoping you will see the evolution of me, where I started on this journey and where I currently am. My ideas, my beliefs around manifestation have certainly evolved over time. And I leave those videos up for all of you that doubt, for you who question whether any of this is true or whether it's possible to manifest. I leave those videos up so you can see my own true evolution. And I'm hoping that what you will see in this or through the videos is beyond the evolution of me, but how my life has changed, how I have changed, how my appearance has changed. Granted, I mean, it's really early morning. I don't have any makeup on and I am still in comfy pajama mode. However, that's just because I have the balls to show up here no matter what I look like. But you will see how I as a person have changed. And I thought when I started this journey that I was radically different than who I had been, you know, a few years before I started recording content for this channel. And looking back at the woman I was, you know, 7, 8 years ago versus who I am now I'm a completely different being, much, much more closer to all of my desires. And a lot of these desires have changed over the course of this channel. And by changed, I mean because I manifested what I manifested. Now I'm on to new things. And one of the most popular topics I get asked about is love and money. So specific person and manifesting money. Not to say I never get asked about anything else, but those are the main ones I get asked. And they were my main topics too. And it's probably why they are the main topics that I receive, because that's in my consciousness, right? That's who I am. That's my belief that those are the popular topics. And because they were important to me. And I have successfully manifested in these categories and many other categories. But I also heavily doubted. And I think that if you've been with me for a long time, you must have heard me discuss my breakups, you know, the changes in my love life. And while in those, what I would have considered, now I say would have because obviously I'm not in those moments now. And maybe to some of you, it might sound silly, but those moments of breakups, solo vacations, I call them, I was in despair. I really questioned myself. I questioned manifestation. I questioned my ability to manifest, let alone whether manifestation was real or not. I questioned it all. So from my perspective, my experience, my opinion, you experiencing thoughts of doubt, thoughts of distrust, thoughts of disbelief around manifesting itself, let alone what you're specifically manifesting, from my perspective, that is normal. And it's almost like the way I would say it is healthy normal. Healthy normal. I think healthy doubt is part of the human experience. So I first want to tell you is it's normal. Don't be afraid of those thoughts. They don't have to indicate anything unless you prefer that they do. And what I mean by that is you give meaning to everything. You give meaning. It's not an individual thought that has meaning. It's a repetitive thought that matters, because the repetition of thought is what creates beliefs. So for some of you, I know right now as you're watching this video, you're probably in a victim state. And a victim state is just when we feel like life is happening to us, not through us, or projected from us. I was there too. And each solo vacation, I absolutely plummeted to really dark victim states. And, you know, I would watch content. There really wasn't a lot of law of assumption content back when I was in those dark times, but except for last year, last September, obviously I even had my own channel then, but I had no particular content creator to watch that I really trusted, because I didn't trust. I didn't. And the breakups only, from my opinion and experience, solidified that, yeah, maybe this shit isn't real, because I don't understand why this breakup is happening to me. This makes no sense. You know, I thought I was giving myself wholly, completely to this manifestation shit, and this is a damn slap in the face. And that is how I felt. I felt like it was a slap in my face. And I didn't believe in manifestation anymore. I really contemplated giving up. And for a week or so, I did. I did, because I was very angry. Angry, bitter, sad, brokenhearted, despair. I was in despair. So I get it if that's where you are. I understand. And because I understand, I want to tell you in this moment that I'm certainly very, very happily on the other side of that. So you are going to be free from whatever you're experiencing now, so long as you don't give up. So I want you to know that we are never asked by Neville, by Joseph Murphy, Genevieve Beren. It's early morning. I'm going to be skipping over my words. Any what we call mystic, knowledgeable mystic on manifestation from any time period, right? I believe we have mystics of today as well, like Dr. Joe Dispenza. I'd use him as an example, but, or gurus. Listen, not one of them that I have read anyway have claimed or forced upon us that we must believe. We must believe in manifestation or it can't work. No, the only thing that's asked of us is look at it as possible. Can you at least entertain the thought of possibility? And I think you can, or you wouldn't be watching content. So what I'm saying is, you just having a little hope of maybe it's possible is enough. It's enough. So when I was manifesting back, specific person, I was in doubt and despair nearly every day. Nearly every day. And tears came every day. I've shared that multiple times. But I still manifested them back. I still got them back. So my daily doubt, my daily despair didn't matter. It didn't stop my manifestation. However, after the first week, it became a daily thing where I would entertain the thought of, it's possible. It's possible I can do this. I don't want to give up on this. So whatever it is you're manifesting, if you at least are entertaining that thought too, I don't want to give up on this. I don't want to not have my specific person. I don't want, to give up on my money manifestation or my health manifestation. I think there's a little spark of possibility. That's all you need to keep going. That's enough. Enough. Genevieve Berend talked about increasing your faith, how to do this when you don't believe it. How to increase your faith. And she wrote this. But you ask, how can I speak the word of faith when I have little or no faith? Every living thing has faith in something or somebody. It is the quality of the creative energy in the positive faith thought which gives it vitality, not the form it takes. Even intense fear is alive with faith. You fear smallpox because you believe it possible for you to contract it. You fear poverty and loneliness because you believe them possible for you. It is your habitual tendency of thought that reappears in your mind, your body, and your affairs, not the occasional thought upon some specific line or desire. It is the faith which understands that every creation had its birth in the womb of thought. Words that give you dominion over all things, your lesser self included, and this feeling of faith is increased and intensified through observing what it does. This observation is the observation of your state of consciousness when you did, not when you hoped you might, but feared it was too good to be true. How did you feel that time when you simply had to bring yourself into a better frame of mind and did? Or you had to have a certain thing and got it. Live these experiences over again and again mentally until you really feel in touch with the self that knows and does, and the best there is yours. She also says, naturally, this sensitive creative power can only reproduce in accordance with the instrument through which it passes. All disappointments and failures are the result of endeavoring to think one thing and produce another. This is just as impossible as it would be for an electric fan to be used for lighting purposes or for water to flow through a crooked pipe in a straight line. The water must take the shape of the pipe through which it flows. Even more truly, the sensitive, invisible, fluent substance must reproduce outwardly the shape of the thought word through which it passes. This is the law of its nature. Therefore, it logically follows, as a man thinketh, so is he. Hence, when your thought or word form is in correspondence with the internal constructive and forward movement of the universal law, then your mind is the mirror in which the infinite power and intelligence of the universe sees itself reproduced, and your individual life becomes one of harmony. So, what she's talking about is, first and foremost, it's the repetition that matters, right? I'm kimming this down for y'all. It's the repetition of your thoughts that make it a belief, which therefore makes it a truth for you. It's the repetition. And I know some of you have had the desire to manifest something and, you feared it wouldn't happen. And it because of who you were choosing to be, right? In those moments, you were being a version of yourself where you believed more that it was possible for something to disappoint you, hurt you, leave you, not work out for you. It was who you were being. That's why it didn't produce the exact thing you were manifesting. But I will tell you that there has been occasions where I was having both. I was having equal time of disbelief and equal time of belief. And I still manifested. So that's why I say, listen, this isn't about you having to be perfect all the time. Think of it in percentages. The goal is 51%. If 49% of the time you're swimming in doubt, but that 51% you're giving into the possibility that this could work for you, that's the only thing that matters. That little 1% more. That little 1% more. This is why I say return. When you start thinking doubtful, negative thoughts about whatever it is you're manifesting, once you're done swimming in it, and it would be great if you didn't swim in it and you would just let that thought fly by, but if you swim in it, once you're calm and back to center, and back to center, I just mean when you're calmly thinking, you're not sitting in your anxiety for a moment, return. Return to your decision, whether that's through an affirmation, scripting, inner conversations, visualizations, whatever your technique of choice is. Return to your decision that you're not giving up on what you're manifesting. That is how you manifest when you don't believe. Do not concern yourself with the fact that you don't believe. Don't concern yourself with that. You're not going to force yourself to believe. It is through experiences, memories of past manifestations, good or bad. It is those things that give you that little nugget of faith because you've experienced it. You have your own personal proof. I can share proof with you till I'm blue in the face, but you have to be the one to choose to give into it, right? But if there's a part of you in fear in this moment that this isn't going to work for you, don't force yourself to believe something you don't believe. That's okay, because I know some of you really worry about that. You worry that you don't have enough belief and faith. It doesn't matter. That doesn't matter. We'll get past that. As you have the awareness of your own personal, successful manifestations, your faith will grow. Your faith will grow. But I will tell you, again, it is the repetition that produces. It's the repetition that makes certain words or phrases beliefs. It's the repetition that makes whatever you are manifesting, it makes that state, that version of yourself feel more natural. This is what Neville himself talks about. It's not how long you hold a state. It's the frequency of how often you return to it. So when you are condemning yourself, when you're judging yourself, when you're blaming and shaming yourself, because you're back to a victim state. This is why I always say that's a waste of your time. It's a waste of your time. Stop being hard on yourself. Instead, let's use that energy and put it on returning to the state of you having your desire, of you believing the desire is yours, even if you secretly really don't believe. You making the decision to return, you making the decision to decide, okay, maybe this is possible for me. Maybe it is. You allowing yourself to go into imagination and just let your mind wander around you having your desire. It's the frequency of you doing things like that that matters. It's the frequency of you doing those things that makes it natural to you. And when a state feels natural, there's a pretty high percentage, a pretty good chance that it will become easier and easier for you to get into that state and not fight with it. But it's that repetition. Repetition's always the answer. Repetition, repetition, or returning. You don't have to believe. I didn't believe. I was riddled in doubts, but I manifested. And just last night on a live stream, for what it's worth, if you didn't know, if you're newer to my channel, how you doing? Please subscribe and come back and see me and let me know you just subscribed so I can know who my new friend is. On last night's live stream, one of my manifestations happened on the live stream with video proof of my manifestation. I had been manifesting that my own SP, my own boyfriend, would allow himself to be on camera. He is someone that is on the private side, which I choose to respect and not force upon him my on-camera lifestyle, because I love him and I respect his decisions. And I don't rub it in his face that I'm manifesting him to do differently, right? I'm manifesting he have a change of heart on that subject. So I was manifesting that he would allow me the permission to put him on camera. He'd been allowing little snippets of like his back, his voice. And I took all those moments as BBLs, like I would tell any one of you. And I didn't prod him in the 3D. I did not manipulate my 3D, meaning I didn't keep begging him. I didn't bug him. I didn't even ask him. I said nothing other than the first time I asked him, because I was recording and he was around. I asked him, do you want to be on camera? You know, and that's where he declared, no, I do not. I don't. So I never forced it. And for what it's worth, any of you that have joined me on my other channel, Kimberly's Other Life, where you saw clips of his back or like the side of his face and things like that, I gave, you know, he got to view the video before it went live and he gave his thumbs up. If he hadn't given me the thumbs up, I would have taken it down, just saying, or I wouldn't even have uploaded it. But long story short, so I had been deciding to be the version of myself that my lover, my boyfriend, the love of my life, would feel comfortable being on camera and would allow himself to show up. And again, never shoving the camera in his face. And on last night's live stream, on the end of it, it's in the last minute or two, he comes home from work while I'm live. I was sitting on this couch, same exact spot. And I said, do you want to say hi? You know, and I thought in that moment he was going to remain in my kitchen and say hi from there. He did. And I didn't think you guys heard him. So I'm like, can you say it again so they can hear you? And because I already knew he didn't mind his voice on the internet, he said it again. And on his own accord, not me sitting in doubt that he's not going to get on camera, me just not, to be honest with you, me not putting the focus on the desire at that time. I was just relaxed. Are you hearing that? I was just chilled, relaxed, focused on my live stream. And in that next minute, he picks up Poop because Poop is in love with him. They have a very tight bond. And if you're new here, Poop is my pitbull. He picks up Poop and sits down on the couch next to me and totally gets in frame. And I'm giving him a look like, do you know you're on frame? You know, and he's like, you guys, I don't think could see that, but that definitely happened. And he sat there and cuddled with Poop and attempted to cuddle with me, but Poop was getting in the way of that. My point is, and I teased him a little bit, but he was on camera and he knew he was on camera and he was good with it. And that was totally my manifestation. And now that I have successfully manifested that, we're on to other things, just saying. But I tend not to usually share what I'm manifesting until it's here. Every once in a while, I'll let a couple of them pop out. Like I did tell the other lifers, or actually, no, I said in a live stream here too that, you know, I'm going to manifest him to get on camera. But usually I keep things to myself because I agree with Neville that you're better off keeping it to yourself per se, so that people in your day-to-day life don't reflect your fear that it wasn't going to happen. But whatever. So my point is, it manifested. It manifested live. You have that very moment. You can see it for yourself. It might not be a big deal to you guys, but listen, manifestation's real. Manifestation is working at all times, whether you believe it or not. You've been manifesting your entire life, and you weren't even aware of it. So your belief was never an issue. I guess is what I'm trying to get the point across here, that it's okay that you don't believe. What matters is you have that little spark of maybe it's possible. Maybe it is. We find it easier to believe the negative. We find it easier to believe that certain things can't happen for us because they feel too good to be true or too out of our own reach. And that's because we've been conditioned to think that way in this 3D world, to limit the use of our imagination. You think it's a coincidence that we're told as we are growing into adulthood, right? Usually from my experience, it starts around the age like 11-ish and above that, you know, the world doesn't revolve around you. Your imagination isn't real. The things you imagine in your mind, that doesn't mean you're going to experience them in real life. You know, get your head out of the clouds. You know, you're just in your imagination. You're daydreaming. Stuff like that doesn't really happen. We're conditioned. We're conditioned. Your imagination is your safe place. Your imagination is your God connection, your universe connection. Your imagination is your magic wand. It is where your spell work, however you want me to word it, all right? It's where you're wielding your spells or your magical wand. It's your imagination. It is safe for you to get into your imagination, to use your imagination, even if you still think it's just daydreaming. It's not. It's real. And allow yourself to feel good in it. We tend to use our imagination for the negative. You know, I have said multiple times on this channel, and Neville has also said it, that, you know, the great deceiver, doubt, the great deceiver, you know, the heaven and hell is within our mind. Hell is doubt. Hell is doubt. The great deceiver. And it explains why our negative thoughts seemingly manifest faster. I've been asked that before. And, you know, when I first found manifestation, I had the same mindset. It seems like shitty things are all I'm able to get in life. Blah, blah, blah. It's because we've been deceived to not trust our imagination, to dumb ourselves down. It's silly to think that we can just, you know, get whatever we want. Life doesn't work like that. But yes, it does. Yes, it does. You are breaking the habit of being a version of yourself that doesn't believe. You are breaking the habit of being a version of yourself that doesn't trust your imagination. But I'm telling you, all you got to do is just allow yourself to even entertain the thoughts of you having your desire. And if you could do that, if you could return to your imagination 51% of the time, you're going to manifest what you want without question. I've done it, even while doubting and not believing. So on that note, I'll see you tomorrow.